Hey everybody, we're going to get started in just another minute. We're going to let some others log in and then we'll get going. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We are right at 11:01. So welcome everybody. I'm Jessica Wirt from Simplesoft Solutions, and we're here today with our partners at Starfish to talk about the Infor CRM and Hubspot integration and also some other great products that Starfish offers. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. All right, so today's agenda is normal, introductions. I'll review some upcoming events. We have just a few slides to go through on our side, and then we're going to pass it over to Starfish for their presentation and demo. And then as usual at the end, we'll do open discussion. We're going to try to keep it at the 45-minute mark today to make sure we allow lots of time for discussion if needed. As always, remember us on social media and our blog. Be sure to get over and find us at Simplesoft Solutions. You can find us on all the platforms and subscribe to get all the updates. All right, so today we have Trisha Kate, VP of Channel Sales from StarfishETL. She's going to be reviewing all that Starfish has to offer for Infor CRM. And then we're going to have Don Manrisky, our president here at Simplesoft, review some items as well as in relation to the integrations that are out of the box with Infor. All right, upcoming events. Next Tuesday, we actually have a follow-up to our activity management webinar we had back in November, where we talked about why you should use activity management. This one's going to focus on how to get started with it and some best practices. So we will do a review of those and demo and discussion, so be sure to sign up. And then a big one we have coming on the 25th. Infor has just released this week the 8.5 version, and there's a lot of really good things coming in this update. So we'll have the actual product manager from Infor live on the call with us. So he'll be reviewing the latest update and showing us some things. So that'll be really exciting. And in April, we're going to have a marketing platform discussion around why you should have a marketing platform integrated and several of the options available. So stay tuned on that. All right, Don, I'll pass it over to you and let you get started on this slide.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everyone. So on this slide, what I want to cover is just some of the typical integrations that our customers have requested over time. Some of the more common integrations are usually around marketing platforms. As Jessica mentioned, we're going to have a webinar in the future specifically on that topic. And we'll talk about Hubspot today. Trisha will get into that for Starfish. But many of the common integrations are around that marketing platform integration, Inbox Guru. Some of them have native integrations to Infor CRM. So Inbox Guru, which is an ACT product now, has a built-in integration. So it's a direct integration, as well as Sales Fusion. Some of the third-party integrations that we work on quite a bit for customers related to ERP. Of course, Infor provides Ion as an integration tool, but there are many other ERP products, especially Sage 100 and Sage 200 and Sage 500, those products that we integrate with Infor CRM. QuickBooks on the accounting side, and then there often e-commerce platforms where we're providing integrations, Power BI, and other analytics tools. And another one not listed here is Cpq. Infor does have a Cpq product, and they have an integration for that, but there are a number of other Cpq tools like Vendavo, Cpq, and again, so it's clear, CPQ stands for configured price quote. So it's configured products that you're integrating with CRM, usually at the opportunity or the quote level. But Vendavo Cpq is another Cpq product that has a native integration with Infor. And we're currently in the process of helping a customer integrate CRM with Oracle's web-based Cpq product. And in that case, we're just using Infor CRM's web services, SData. So there's a lot of integrations. And really the point of this slide and this discussion is just to get you thinking about other systems, other business systems you're using, and how you could potentially integrate those with Infor CRM. So there's a number of tools. Some of those are built in with Infor. Again, SData web services, as well as Ion, which Infor provides to customers, the light version at least at no cost. And then there's some great third-party tools like Starfish, which provide data migration capabilities, importing capabilities, and then just integration. So that was all that I wanted to cover today. Are there any questions, Jessica, from the attendees?
I forgot to mention, everyone, as usual, send your questions to the chat box. I don't see any right now, but feel free throughout. If we don't get to you throughout the presentation, we will be sure to hit them at the end. Looks like right now we don't have any.
All right. Well, Tricia, I'll let you take it away and go through. And,
thank you.
And tell everyone about Starfish.
All right. Thanks. Just really quick before I turn it over to Tricia, I just wanted to remind everyone we do have a great partner for financing your software. So if you're considering adding on or a new project coming up, be sure to reach out to our partner at Blue Street Capital for that. All right. So thanks, Tricia, for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and pass presenter to you. All right, there we go.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, we can see your screen good.
Good. I'm sorry, I had this set and ready to go, and then it turned off when I when I hit the share my screen. So good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or whatever time zone you're in. I am personally in the Pacific Northwest. It is not raining, yay me, and it's a little bit early, so good morning. So Starfish, thank you for the introductions. Thank you for giving us the time to present to your customers. Starfish is an integration platform as a service. So it's a cloud-based platform that lets you connect all of your business systems, your databases, files, things of that nature, maybe files you have on your FTP, all kinds of different systems, and we're going to cover those today. We have over 100 connectors, and then we work with a partner that has over 250 that we can just plug and play those new connectors as our customers need them. So we really are just putting out new connectors constantly, so you can connect Infor and in any other the other systems that you have in your organization together to streamline your business. So we're going to go through the architecture of Starfish here in a minute, but just to touch on those pieces, you'll notice up at the top it says that it's a hybrid solution, which is really fantastic and kind of sets us apart from other iPaaS solutions. So a majority of our customers use Starfish in the cloud, and usually the first question is, well, how is that going to access my local data? And that's the hybrid solution. We have something called the Ray that allows us to securely connect our cloud solution to your local systems. And then there are some other ways we can work on, if you don't want to use the Ray, to access your local systems. And we also have an on-prem solution. So if you wanted to keep it completely in-house, we can do that as well. We're also going to cover Stitch, which is kind of an AI tool we're starting to build out, so you can just roll out integrations very easily. I'll show you how that works in the system today. And the result of our stitching engine is products we call essentials. So those are pre-built integrations that you can quickly have this template that you start with and then build on and customize, or maybe the template's exactly what you need. And so you're rolling out an integration very quickly. But again, the ability to customize that into a very unique integration to suit your needs is the power of Starfish. And then we also have a visual mapping tool, which we'll see as I jump into Starfish here in just a moment. So if we look at the architecture and how this works, again, Starfish is in the cloud on Amazon East, and it can work, if we go to the left here, it can work through Ray, which is installed locally on your system as an app or as a service. It's a very light footprint, and then it can speak to your on-prem systems, and that can just be a database, obviously Infor, which we're focusing on today, and any other on-prem applications that you have. So you can use the latest and greatest cloud-based system that's always updated. We're monitoring. It has cloud ops to do your integrations, and take that local system and then also integrate it with your cloud-based systems such as Hubspot and e-commerce and all kinds of other things that are out there today. And then if we look down, you'll see we have the designer. So the designer is what we're going to be logging in today. It's browser-based. You can log in, see your various projects. So one of the great things about Starfish is that I can have multiple integrations and create this entire workflow throughout all of the systems that I'm using, cloud-based, local, file system, databases, and so forth. So you can work in the designer to do that. And then again, I mentioned that we have our on-prem solution, so you can have a completely contained in-house solution as well. And then one of the things we also have is a migration wizard. And that's really would have been useful for you as you were coming on to Infor CRM from another system or from some files that you have and you want to import into Infor CRM. The migration wizard is out there for customers that just want a really quick DIY. I want to get migrated onto Infor and move forward, or even HubSpot. Let's say you wanted to import some data into HubSpot, we can do that as well. So that is the architecture of Starfish. And well, then over here on the right, I apologize, we have our CRM and our cloud solutions. So it's really communicating with everything in your organization. So again, the Starfish Ray, I've touched on this twice already. So the only thing I really didn't touch on here is that it's 32-bit and 64-bit compatible, and then we have security through SSL. So the other option is, if you don't use Starfish Ray, is if your Infor CRM is already internet facing, or your other on-prem solutions are already internet facing, so I could actually log in from my house and talk to your application, then there's nothing to do. Starfish in the cloud can access that, or you can whitelist our IP address and then just talk to the cloud that way. So, but the Ray, I love the fact that we have all the security measures, and there's multiple options, and you can choose what fits your needs. So essentials. So I mentioned Stitch. So our stitching engine, I'm going to jump in and look at it here in a minute inside of Starfish. But the idea is that the more integrations we do, the smarter Starfish gets. And so you can see right now our stitching engine, historically, what Starfish started as was kind of a blank slate. It was this great tool that you could do your migrations and integrations, but you really just had to start from scratch. Our smart connectors to all these hundreds of different applications let you connect easily, and then our user interface allows you to easily map the information, something as simple as company on this side, company on that side, first name, and so forth. So easily mapping the data between the two, but you are really building your integration or migration from scratch. But as the years went by and we started doing more and more of these, we built it so that Starfish gets more intelligent. So you'll see in the stitching engine, most of what we used in the early days, what we used Starfish for was CRM to ERP or CRM to CRM migrations. That was really our expertise at that time. So Starfish is really good at allowing you to jump in and create, choose Infor and choose your ERP of choice, and then you get a base template. Now we're expanding that out. So today we are talking about Infor CRM and HubSpot, and we do other marketing automation, but the HubSpot, as we're doing more HubSpot and Marketo and things of that nature, then our stitching engine will become more intelligent about that. But right now, our HubSpot integrations are really, really popular. So we'll be adding marketing automation and e-commerce to our stitching engine and to our essentials. But if we just take a really quick look, and I'll jump back to the PowerPoint here in a minute, but I want to look at this while it's relevant. So this is Starfish. You jump into the cloud. If you wanted to do a trial, you could do that. You could register today and start kicking those tires. Take a look around. You'll see I have my HubSpot Infor integration here. I right now want to show the stitching engine. So if I come to projects, import, well, actually, this is our dashboard. And all of my projects, I can create new projects or look at my list of projects here under projects. This is where I create my connectors. So I can quickly create an Infor CRM connector through SData, and then I can connect to HubSpot through OAuth, which what that translates to is I literally just log into my HubSpot instance here, and then I click a button in Starfish and the two talk and I'm authorized. It's really wonderful to be able to get connected that quickly. So those are our connectors. And again, we have hundreds of them and we try and keep connecting to them as simple as we possibly can. Most of them are bi-directional, meaning you can read and write data into them, but some of them are one way. So it's important that, as you are thinking about doing these projects, that you either check on our website or check with the Simplesoft group and see that our connectors can do what you need it to do before moving forward. And then we've just got set up and so forth. So what I wanted to show you right now was import. So the stitching engine. So the idea here is it's twofold. So over here is migration. So I can quickly do a migration from one system to another. But today we're focusing on integrations. So here I can come in and say I want to integrate Infor. And then here are our ERPs that you can easily choose a pre-built map. It's really phenomenal. So I can choose Acumatica or other systems, and then I choose, today you can see I only have two connectors, so I can't actually roll out a map for you, but that's not our focus. But the idea is that if I came up here and created a connector to my Acumatica, even in the trial system, I could then come down here and say, okay, so now I want Infor CRM, and then I want to choose my Acumatica connector that I just created and tested, and it's talking to Acumatica. And then over here on the right, you can see that I can kind of edit what is happening with our pre-built map. So this is how we've done it out of the box, but you could say, no, I really, I want my contacts to go from CRM to ERP or vice versa. So I could change how this is. And you can look at all the entities that we automatically put into this pre-built template. So we're sharing quite a bit of information between the systems. And then again, you can build on this. So you might roll out this template, work with Simplesoft and have them roll out this template for you, and then talk to them and say, well, this really fits my needs just as it is, or we have some custom fields we'd like to do as well, or maybe some custom objects. Maybe you've added some extra tables to Infor CRM or whatever. It's capable of doing all of that. It can even do data transformations. So my simplest example is always really elementary, right? So in one system it says USA, and in the system I'm moving to, I actually want it spelled out as United States of America, right? Or something of that, United States. And so, Starfish can do that, and it can do that. That's probably the simplest level, but it can do really intense data transformations. I've had people take their whole lead distribution system and change it as we are moving information from one system to another. So it's really phenomenal, the strength of Starfish, because a lot of integration systems are really skin deep. You get some contacts and accounts going back and forth, and you really can't do much with it beyond that, much less do some intense data transformations like that. So what we call this is low code, right? So most of what you're doing is we've tried to make it as simple as possible, as you can see here, and we'll jump into our integration in just a moment. But then it does have the power to take it to the next level. So again, we can mix and match here. So again, we're doing Infor, but then we can do it with all these different ERPs as well. And then we'll be rolling out marketing automation. Now the HubSpot, what we do there is that map is just available. Since it's not in Stitch, we can just import that map into somebody's instance and it's ready to go, and it can be customized from there. So, I mean, integrating CRM and marketing automation is so crucial. I'm a salesperson, that's what I do all day, and having my leads automatically, somebody comes to the website and fills out a form, that information hits HubSpot, a new lead is created, they're automatically sent information. You know, we've set up a workflow in HubSpot, so we reach out. Now that information is quickly put right into the CRM. I get an email saying a new lead's been created. I can click on that in my inbox. It takes me to the lead in my CRM and I can get to work. And usually, you know, if I'm not doing something else, I'm usually on the phone with the prospect within 5 minutes or sending them an email or something, and they're already getting, so that for me personally is just phenomenal. I mean, reaching out to a prospect that quickly is crucial for me. And so then I'm updating that information in the CRM and converting that lead, and then that information flows back into HubSpot. So I'll get into the specifics of the entire integration, but this really does help close the gap between sales and marketing. You know about your leads faster. Marketing knows how things are progressing and have the analytics from the marketing side to see what's happening in sales and where things could be improved and how we can change our campaigns based on what's happening in sales. And it's all automatically shared between the two, and I'm not having to manually enter my leads anymore. There's no lag time in how quickly I get my leads, which is fantastic. So it really does streamline your business and save you time. So this is the integration. We're going to jump into Starfish here in a minute and take a look at that. But basically, and I started to touch on this already, we have a prospect that comes into HubSpot as a contact. They visit our website, they fill out a form and so forth. Once they become an MQL, and this is just our choice, right? So once they become a marketing qualified lead, we don't want subscribers. We don't want any spam in our CRM system. So we filter all of that out and we say, okay, so once a contact reaches MQL in HubSpot, we want that contact to be put in the leads module of Infor CRM. And again, that's when I get my notification and I can click on it. And now I start working with my lead. So as I'm changing information in that lead that, you know, maybe I'm updating address information or things of that nature, that's all flowing back into HubSpot. But then once I convert that lead, whoop, and there we go. And so once I convert that lead in Infor to a contact and create an opportunity, all of that information is also updated into HubSpot. So now maybe it's a sales qualified lead, you know, the life cycle stage changes in HubSpot to sales qualified lead, contact information is updated. I've created an opportunity in Infor for this contact. So now there's a deal in HubSpot. So it's just really amazing the level of complexity with this integration. So here we have our opportunity and deal, and then we come over here. Any forms that were initially filled out by this lead as it's entered into the CRM, you'll see the history record for those forms as marketing emails. So again, here at in-house at Starfish, all of this, we're using this in-house all day, every day. So I go to a lead record, I can also see all the marketing emails that were sent out to them the minute they hit our website. Thank you for contacting us. Here's some more information. I can see if they opened it. So all of this information is in Infor and shared from HubSpot. And that includes subscriptions and so forth. So, Okay, so then we flip it around a bit. So let's say somebody calls in or just sends in an email to me directly, or maybe even comes in through support. It's amazing how many different directions leads come in. It's not all just our website. So I might be entering leads into Infor CRM myself. So if I do that, then those leads are then pushed up to HubSpot. Again, they're put on the marketing track. They get the appropriate emails and everything else. And then as I'm changing that contact information in the lead, that information's updating into HubSpot. Infor CRM really is the single source of truth as far as contact details, and it's always going to update HubSpot. And same thing if I'm entering contacts, not just leads, but contacts into Infor, those are updated and inserted and updated also into HubSpot. And then, Starfish just continues to keep that information current. As we're updating and adding things in both systems, it's sharing it back and forth. An opportunity is now closed won, and this is no longer a prospect, this is a customer. Now all of that information is updated in HubSpot, and maybe that puts them on a different track for marketing and so forth. So it really is amazing how this can streamline your business and close that gap between sales and marketing. Okay, that's really it. Again, we were talking before we started, and I said I talk really fast. So I'm guessing that probably prompted some questions. So we have time for that now. Jessica, if you'd like to take a look and let us know what we have out there.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is great info. All right, let's take a look. One question we have is, how long do these take to implement? So maybe is there an average implementation time for the integrations?
Well, I did in my haste not take a look at what we have here. So it's really fascinating if we come and look at the projects. My mouse isn't working. Okay, come on. Dashboard projects. There we go. So if we take a look at this specific integration, this is what you start with. And this has everything that we talked about. So we're taking MQL leads from HubSpot to CRM and so forth. And if we just jump into one of these, so this is there for you to start with. So you're going to work with Simplesoft. They're going to talk to you about how you want your marketing automation and CRM integration to work. And they can edit this, but this is the base template they're starting with. And as I discussed earlier, most of what we're doing inside of Starfish is really easy, point and click. So maybe I want to map, modified user. So in HubSpot, that's actually updated by user, right? And so now I've just mapped that, right? And I also talked about being able to transform data. So all of that, you can do this field by field. So this is kind of a long answer to your question, but a lot of this is already done. So again, if you looked at this really great complex integration and you said, oh, this fits my needs, well, I think you could probably be integrated in a week. And that means testing, you're going to see the data flowing back and forth and make sure this fits your needs and everything's happening like you want. And then you set a schedule, and each job can have its own schedule, right? And a job is, if we arrow down here a little bit, each one of these is a job. So I can look for my leads more often than I update my contacts from Infor to HubSpot. I can look for my leads every 60 seconds if we really need to be on top of this and following up with our contacts immediately. So we can set a different schedule on everyone. So you test it, and then you set your schedule and you're off and running. So it could be as short as 3 days, but it's very quick. Now, the flip side of that is you take a look at these projects and this project and you say, well, I don't want to implement this one. I would like to add another one. I'd like to do some custom fields. I have this whole different system that you guys set up for me in Infor CRM, and I'd like to integrate that as well. It's all possible. So at that point, we start with that template, and then you build from there depending on what your integration needs are.
Perfect. And then Dawn, I have a question that would probably be yours to take. What would need done on the Infor side, and how would any kind of prep work or anything need done to their Infor CRM?
related to what specific type of integration? Are we talking ERP or marketing automation, or was there a specific?
Doesn't say. It looks like I think maybe just in general.
But anytime we're talking about integrating with any other system, it comes down to identifying what is going to be the key value between the two systems. You know, with a lot of times when we're integrating with, let's just use integrating with a lead form on a website, right? There needs to be a key field, and we typically are going to match and try to dedupe an email address because that's unique. When you're integrating with ERP, there needs to be a customer ID field and a process. So I would say one of the first things that always needs to be done is just some data cleanup, data management on the CRM side. So making sure that minimize the number of duplicate accounts and contacts. And that's always a prerequisite for any type of integration or data importing.
Okay.
And I'm sure, Tricia, you can add to that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So oftentimes when you're planning an integration, you really have to get down to the fine details, and you say, well, I want this information in HubSpot to flow over to Infor CRM, and my answer is, well, where do you want it, right? What fields do you want it in, and do those fields exist? And vice versa. Maybe you have some custom fields in Infor CRM that Don and his team have created for you, and you'd like that information to flow in to HubSpot, but there's no place for it to live, right? There's no fields to put that information in. And so you'd go in and add those properties into HubSpot. So that planning needs to happen first. And that's usually, I personally think it's fun, but I love planning these processes and working out the small details, but it is absolutely necessary that you get into those field by field details of how you want your integration to work for it to work properly, and create the fields necessary in both systems to house the data that you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I talked about data quality primarily, but yeah, it's identifying the source and the destination, right? So regardless of, I mean, building it requires doing some planning. It's like building a house. You know, you've got to start with a blueprint, and that blueprint is saying, here's my source, here's where the data is coming from, and here's where it needs to go in CRM. So let's just use the example of a Cpq integration. If we were going to be bringing over data, there might be existing fields to use in the CRM. So if we were going to be bringing in data that was going to show up on an opportunity, for example, it may be as simple as mapping the Cpq fields to the product line item data on the opportunity level. And there might not be anything custom. And that's very common for a Cpq integration. There's usually a location for the basic stuff. But in the event where there are additional fields, like additional product details, for example, we might edit the edit product dialog box, the opportunity edit product dialog box in CRM to include those fields. And those fields might be read-only or they might be read-write. But typically with an integration coming from Cpq, they're going to be read-only in CRM. So it could be integration, it could be customizations at the opportunity level as well as the quote level. So there may be fields you want to display in CRM from the other system, but there might be enough existing fields. So that's a process we go through and we can help customers with as part of the integration planning process.
Very good.
That's good. Yeah, and there's no other questions at the moment. So if you want to move on, that's I think we're ready.
Well, that's all I had, unless we want to look a little deeper. I don't want to get too technical. I mean, we do, again, we do try and keep Starfish as simple as possible and easy to understand. So nice visual interface so you can see exactly what's happening inside your integration. But I have a feeling if I jump in too much, we will be getting into the weeds of field by field
Sure.
and yeah, I don't want to overwhelm your folks here, but I mean, to close, it's integration is so important. And it's become very popular. I've been doing this integration piece for many, many years, and it wasn't nearly as popular, but it's really fantastic to be able to go out and find the CRM you love, like Infor CRM. I've I've been using Infor CRM since they first came out, and I've known Don and his team for just about that long, and I absolutely love
Wow.
Infor CRM. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's been a long time, Don, and so being able to have different systems that aren't integrated, that you prefer to use because they really fit your business, but now they're not separate. Now we're sharing information between, and your workflows are doing well, and your analytics are improved, and your team is just seamlessly working together. So hopefully Starfish can help you do that.
Well, thank you so much for your time today and giving us all this info. That was great, Tricia. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share time with your customers.
No problem.
Thank
All
you.
right, everyone. Oh yeah, go ahead, Don.
No, I was just saying I wanted to thank Tricia as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
All
day,
right,
everyone. Let us know if you have any questions after the fact. We'll be
thanks.
glad to help.
Yes, we will be sending out a follow-up as usual with the link to the recording for you to share with others, and be sure to go and check out our events coming up. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.